Shaggy, what are you doing in the corner?
I'm scared, man! Like scared!
The gang's all here, they're on the case, and there's no ghost that they wouldn't face, 'cause they dig it, Scooby-Doo. Yeah, they dig it, Scooby-Doo.
Hey gang, and welcome to another episode of a podcast named Scooby-Doo Extra. Now for those of you familiar with the format of the extra episodes, just bear with me while I explain to first-time listeners what the purpose of these episodes are, or you can just hit the 15-30 second advance button. That always works too. So for anybody who's new, the essential idea behind the extra episodes is I'm trying to bring some added value content to the Warner Home Video Scooby-Doo releases. Actually, in some cases, as in the commentary that is being covered in this episode, there is no Warner Brothers Home Video release, which I think is a problem, but that's another conversation. Anyways, anytime I interview somebody for the podcast proper, I generally give them the opportunity to come on and do a commentary for an episode that they were involved in, wrote or directed or what have you. So in this case, for this installment, I spoke to Casper Kelly and Larry Morris a little bit ago about their wonderful, wonderful Scooby-Doo project, which was a Blair Witch parody that they did back in 1999. And for its 20th anniversary, I interviewed them, and they decided that it would be fun to also do a commentary. And actually, this is kind of a special thing because this will be the first of two commentaries that you'll have the opportunity to listen to. I'll be doing another release of a second commentary. This is a commentary they did in 2019, and there is a commentary that was recorded in 2000 that was an in-house commentary at Cartoon Network. So you'll get kind of two perspectives. Perspective from right after they made it to 20 years later, and the previous commentary will also have some additional people who were involved with the production. Now for this one, Casper and Larry recorded it independently. They just sent me the file. So the usual kind of lead-up conversation and the 3, 2, 1, go is not something that was kind of done. Also, they recorded it based on a YouTube video that they watched. There is now a really good quality video that Larry released based on the DVD that he had from Cartoon Network. It's probably the best quality version of the film that is out there on the internet. I've linked to it. I will be linking to it in the show notes for this. But the video that they used was a YouTube video which they comment on in the commentary. It was, I think, probably the one that they found that was the proper length. There are longer ones, longer versions of the Scooby-Doo project that incorporate all the bumpers, all the everything, and it runs a few minutes longer, but this is kind of like the director's cut. So you could probably watch this over the video that Larry released, which I'll be linking to, as I said, or if you are finding it's a 17.5-minute video online on YouTube, whatever your level of access is, that's fine as well. So just before we get into it, a brief heads up, there's a really short kind of conversation right at the beginning, and then when they say, here we go, that's when they click play. So rather than the countdown, when you hear, here we go, click the play, and you should be good to go. With that, I will hand the reins off to Larry and Casper. Gentlemen, take it away.
All right, Mike, this is our recording for the commentary.
We're on this is Casper Kelly, and I'm here with
Larry Morris.
Yes.
We were both writers and directors along with Steve Patrick of the Scooby-Doo Project.
Yes, Ashley Kohler producing.
In 1999.
And we're doing the commentary off of a YouTube video.
Yes.
That has a 400,000 views and has a in memoriam of Casey Kasem at the top of this.
Yeah. And I think this is the official long version that aired. and that's why we're doing this off of this particular video. So here we go. Obviously, the text up top is mirroring the movie, or at least the movie promo, the movie trailer for Blair Witch Project.
I don't know. Yeah.
So obviously Velma's kind of key to the whole thing because she's mirroring Heather, the actress character from Blair Witch.
This is shot in Canada because that's where the Mystery Machine was, and it was cheaper to fly us to Canada than to bring the Mystery Machine to Atlanta.
That's right, fuel prices. This is also shot at somebody who had a house in Canada, and that's where we went because it was free.
This is Larry's friend, the owner of Slopes Barbecue in
Andy McDaniel.
This is Stuart Shackley, who worked
Cartoon programming. Luther Boggs. John. What's John's last name?
That's my mother, Linda Kelly.
Linda Kelly there.
Yeah, who was it? John. It was Colleen O'Hare's ex-husband.
Yeah.
This is back in Canada. Anything involving the Mystery Machine is shot in Canada.
Yeah, it was on a highway, rural highway north of Toronto. And now we jump back to Buckhead. This is in front of the casting agency where we cast this woman to play this part.
No, is that her house or?
No, that was the casting agency.
Oh.
And I remember vividly having to paint that woman's tooth. Chris was painting Casper.
Yeah.
You were painting that woman's tooth at one point.
Oh, is that right?
To create blackout. Yeah.
That's comedy gold. Is just having Scooby repeat a word.
Also, the fact that we were, making light of the fact that they were animated in this live action environment.
Yes. All right, this cemetery is at Larry Morris's. Go ahead.
Well, it's in Smyrna, Georgia, and so I lived in this house briefly, and this is a Civil War hospital in Smyrna, Georgia, that my friend still owns. His family owns it, and this house had the cemetery in the front of the house in the woods, and then it also had what we used later for the hallway chase sequence, and it had the creepy cellar in the basement. So it was gold. We had a great location. It was free. And then all the other woods material
right here.
I believe this scene this particular scene, excuse me. I believe this was shot near Turner Studios near work. We had to do some pickups.
Oh, is this back when they had that field next to Turner Studios?
Well, they had some woods that are still there.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, and so some of these are pickup shots, but a lot of stuff was shot. A majority of the woods material was shot in my childhood home in Alpharetta, Georgia. There's a lot of acreage up there. It's now being turned into subdivisions, but we shot up there. Sorry.
That's a nice cycle. Ooh. That's good tracking by Butch Siebert.
Yes. Turner Studios, compositor. We made him a better compositor on this project.
Yes.
Is what he actually admitted to us. That's me using my dad's old hammer to...
I didn't know what the word grommet meant. I think I learned that from you.
A grommet? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a camper as a kid. I was a happy camper.
Weirdly, the owner of the animation company
is named Doug Grimmett.
Which is not grommet.
Not grommet.
All right. I've been having some bourbon.
And memory loss after 20 years. This tent sequence is interesting because a lot of the quote-unquote puppeting that we did, like, moving the duffel bag around and the tent, we were just shaking things with our hands, and the animators were creating feet and hands and tail cycles and things. And, a lot of this stuff ended up coming together magically because we had no idea at the time. We were just shooting plates. And then we were using the roto of the animation to create the shadow in post. So basically what's happening here is, in this next shot, is you've got me holding the camera, shooting a background plate, and then you've got the animation layers creating the illusion of depth.
Yes, and it works.
And parallax is what they call that, right? So same thing with here. This is a real flashlight, and we're shooting a black card, so the light of the flashlight is hitting the black card, and then they're just mixing that with Velma's animation. So a lot of simple techniques that, the tracking's done with a couple points there, and it just turned out. Which is, again, these days it's easy to do. But in 1999, we were using like Quantel, flame boxes that were costing thousands of dollars, an hour or a day to composite. And a lot of this footage, if Chris or Steve wrote a script, I would shoot that script based on their direction. They would be behind me, and I would be with the camera, with a light on top of the camera, at night, blocking and directing these pieces. So for that Scooby piece, we'd put popcorn out on the ground. There were tracking points on a stick, and then Chris would say, "No, that's too far," or you should move faster there. That looked pretty good, and we'd watch it. We'd play it back on the camera to make sure we got the right take. But there was multiple takes on a hot summer night. With playback coming from a cassette recorder.
Yeah, we had pre-recorded the audio and edited it, so we got the audio first, and then which is normal for a cartoon, and then we were doing the camera movement to match the audio.
And there's some digital manipulation here. There's definitely some like digital push-ins right there. Butch was pushing in and making it look like we were zooming into the woods, and making it feel more like the Blair Witch Project. This was a particular favorite moment when Scrappy shows up.
I think this process was so expensive that we had to do a lot of POV stuff as well. That's funny.
That's utterly frightening.
Yeah.
No wonder kids were going crazy, freaking out. So this is what I was referring to.
Yeah, that looks great.
As the parallax and the lighting. There's an example of this on a making of video I made where we shot lighting passes, or reference passes. But Butch just made that look amazing. I love that. We talked a lot on the podcast about tropes, and basically it was easy to inject what was great about Scooby with this Blair Witch overlay because, Fred can't think of anything except for them to dress up as surgeons and operate on the beast or the creature. Now we're back in Smyrna at the cemetery. Somebody loved Hawaiian pie.
Also, it's interesting. I think we were in our 20s, and people in our 20s is sort of we're the most removed from what children would want. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Right? No,
we were kind of writing for ourselves.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
You're also doing a Blair Witch parody,
yeah.
So you want to be true to the source of what you're parodying.
Oh wow. Yeah, I love that where you just see a tiny bit.
Yeah, that was actually kind of scary.
Yeah.
the monster. Was this? I forget. Was this an original monster that we created for this, or was it based on a show?
I don't remember. That's a good question.
I feel like we got it from a style guide,
Yeah.
Scooby style guide. Oh yeah, there we go. Scooby's over there. Okay, this is great. So basically, we found these dog treats. These are real dog treats. Real dog treats that have these fake grill marks on them. So they kind of look like Scooby snacks. And then Chris is just off screen, and I'm directing him, and he's actually reaching in there and grabbing it. And we covered his hand up with animation. I mean...
Chris is also Casper, if you're wondering.
Yes, he's one and the same.
Yeah. This has a little bit of the sense of dread and fear,
Well, again,
and comedy. I like that mix.
You've never seen the gang like this. You've never seen them in panic. Chris slaved over the timing on that. How long that slow burn. I think Butch had to slow the video down even to make it last longer.
This is an angle of Velma you would never see.
Right.
In
Lots of. Yeah.
That's making me laugh. I don't remember these jokes.
I made that map.
That's
My
fantastic.
rudimentary Photoshop skills. This is the only effect that didn't ever work as successfully. We wanted animated footprints like they have in the cartoon, so we had to track those on the ground.
It feels like we could have just used construction paper.
But it had to be animated. Man.
Oh, yeah, it's true. That's fair.
We wanted cartoon footprints.
I love that blurry depth, yeah.
Yeah, the depth of focus is amazing. Now this was definitely shot outside of Turner Studios in the woods. There's a little pocket of woods still to this day next to Turner. And Chris was not happy about Shaggy's model right here. That's the only model that's kind of a fail.
Is that right?
Yeah. I remember you were very upset about the way Shaggy looked. But how great is it that Shaggy eats the map?
Yeah.
There we go.
Just remain calm. You remain calm. I am calm. You're the ones that aren't calm. I'm calmer than you. I'm calm what? I'm calm.
So good.
I just realized something. I just realized that we've been out here, 7 days? We haven't pulled a mask off anyone yet.
And your point is?
I don't know. I guess I missed the little thing.
Such a time killer. I think we had to kill a lot of time, but it's great writing.
Yeah.
Now that was reused. So yeah, to answer some questions about reuse animation, that was a walk cycle.
Yeah,
stole.
I think we had cycles
Yeah.
and what we would call backflap.
This is obviously not the official edited version of the long version that we did, but it's close and it covers a lot of territory. So yeah, there's some reuse right there.
He's got a point, though.
You mean to tell me you're not scared?
All I'm saying is that there's got to be a perfectly good explanation.
That's weird.
Well,
Is that how we ended it?
no.
Are you sure?
Like there's only one way to find out.
More reuse.
Hold on. We don't know.
I don't know. No!
What is it?
They're stale. They're completely and totally.
Which Shaggy would freak out if there was stale
Yeah.
Scooby snacks.
I think that's
I mean
good,
that's
yeah.
that's
Guys, I lost my glasses.
Here we go again. Velma, for crying out loud.
classic.
Glasses strap.
We had to do there was definitely some classics. We had to do the Lost Glasses.
Yeah.
We had to do Scooby Snacks. We had to do
Can we find your glasses?
the hallway chase.
No, wait a minute.
Are those your glasses?
Those are my glasses. I've been wearing the same dark rim glasses since since 1998. So why they're not animated, I don't know.
She wandered off. Velma! Over here!
This is just great.
I love how Fred just keeps getting more and more worked up.
What are we gonna do now, Velma?
I wrote this script. I'm so in touch with the feminine side of myself. To talk about broken nails and I mean,
That's a great scared. Man, that's awesome.
yeah. That was. Here we go. So yeah, if you're listening to this only, I've said this a couple times. This right here proved that we could make the Scooby-Doo project. That run sequence,
Yeah, it looks amazing.
we did that first.
This is the nail theme that Larry's continuing.
Yeah, the nail theme. Also, we called it a
That
scarf and not instead of an ascot, and people have gotten onto us about that. Freddie lost his scarf.
That's
All
weird,
right.
yeah.
This is the Rough House. This is in Smyrna, Georgia. It has been restored recently from a fire last year. We had a fire in this house.
It was perfect because it wasn't overly decorated. I don't remember removing a bunch.
Well, 'cause
was it decorated?
He had just gotten married,
Oh.
so it was still a bachelor pad. Pretty
Oh, okay.
much. But basically, this was an incredibly hard sequence to put together. There was lots of render time. Butch spent so much time on this, and it was so easy to shoot. But it took a lot of compositing.
I love the timing of it. I love it.
All we had to do is just have somebody open that door and shut that door. Also, everything was graded, so, to look like 16 millimeter to match the film.
This still haunts me. Because that scene in the movie terrifies me.
But it had to be Shaggy.
Yeah.
Especially because that guy in the movie is like Shaggy. Yeah. And this is the little scene, unmasking scene.
So I assume we cast him?
We did cast him. His, I remembered his name just the other day. I thought that we...
I think we had to do this because the ending on the Shaggy in the corner and the camera dropping was too scary.
Well, I think also because we wanted to do an unmasking sequence.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I think looking back on this, we should have had like a whole family there. Have like the kids, like Dad. But there's really a monster that's not really just him in that mask.
This is scary as well.
I remember showing this to my nephew, and I was so worried he was going to start crying as soon as that came up.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's the Scooby-Doo project.
These credits are not accurate.
No, they're not. All right, well, that was the Scooby-Doo project 20 years later.
Hope you enjoyed it.
We enjoyed
it. Yeah,
we had a lot of fun watching it and going down memory lane. I don't know if I remember much of it, but you obviously do.
It was great times. This is Casper Kelly.
This is Larry Morris signing off.
Thank you for watching and listening.
Bye.
And there you have it, gang. That was the 2019 commentary for the Scooby-Doo project with writer-directors Larry Morris and Casper Kelly. Now, as I said in the intro, there will be a second commentary that I will be releasing. It was courtesy of Larry Morris, who ripped it from the DVD that was produced in 2000 in-house at Cartoon Network. And that commentary features both Casper and Larry, but also Ashley Kohler and Steve Patrick, who were the other two who worked on the project with them. So I'm looking forward to getting that put together and put out as well. Shouldn't take too long. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this commentary. And if you enjoyed this commentary, check out the interview that I did with Casper and Larry, where we talk extensively about the Scooby-Doo project and working at Cartoon Network back in those early days. You can find those on episode 30 and 31, respectively, of the podcast proper. I'm going to be linking to those in the show notes. I'm also going to be linking to the videos, 2 videos. The first video will be the actual YouTube video, the bootleg that Casper and Larry used to record this, which is the one that has the Casey Kasem intro and the bogus credits, which they comment on in their commentary. But I'm also going to be posting a link to the proper Vimeo video. That is the one that Larry ripped from the in-house DVD. And it's the best quality Scooby-Doo project that's out there. I've linked to it before, and you can watch it with either. There might be a slight bit of cognitive dissonance if you're watching the commentary with the proper video, just because of the Casey Kasem comment and the credits comment. But I think we're all capable of managing that, so it's all good. Anyways, if you guys want to reach the podcast or let me know what you thought of this commentary or the interviews or whatever, you can find me on all the social medias. I'm either at Scooby-Doo Cast or a podcast named Scooby-Doo. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and there's also a WordPress blog, scoobydoocast.wordpress.com. I post the odd blog post there, but recently I've been doing these things called the Apocalypse Variations, where I interview people who did covers for Scooby Apocalypse and just kind of get some of their insight on the process of creating that artwork and the images they chose and their connection to Scooby-Doo. And those are pretty cool. And depending on when you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to have Yasmin Putri is the most recent edition. I'm going to be posting that probably on the weekend. This is being released on a Tuesday, maybe before that. Who knows? Everything is random here. Everything is random at a podcast named Scooby-Doo, as regular listeners probably already know. But I look forward to hearing what you guys think. If you want to support the show, like, follow, subscribe, share on all the social media, wherever you're getting the podcasts from, whether it's Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify. Helps with the algorithms, helps get the show into the minds and ears of potential listeners. And if you know anybody who likes animation or Scooby-Doo or Hanna-Barbera, this might be a podcast they'd like to listen to. So feel free to share it with them and spread the love. Word of mouth is a powerful tool, and I am not afraid to utilize it, to encourage it, to weaponize it. So thank you guys so much for checking this out. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for listening. Thanks for taking the time. Big thank you to Casper and Larry, who gave so much of their time and resources to putting these things together, both the interviews and the commentaries. Much appreciation to those gentlemen. They are top-notch in my book. They are very good friends of the show. And I look forward to possibly talking to Casper again, because there's another short out there, Night of the Living Do. We'll see. But until then, I have been your humble host, Mike Josick. Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you next time on a podcast named Scooby-Doo Extra.